What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here. I just picked up the new Taurus GX2. It was not sent to me, and I picked it up from my local gun range for $250 before tax. I don't know, guys. I don't have the highest hopes for this one. The G3C, great gun. GX4, great gun. TX22, great gun. Especially for the money. I think they're great guns regardless, but for the money, you can definitely say they're great guns. And what made them such great guns is they used Mec-Gar mags, right? They went to one of the highest quality with mag companies, one of the most reputable mag companies in the world, right? And that helped Taurus become a successful firearm company by making reliable guns for the money. But what happens when you go backwards? On top of that, they moved their production to the United States, which typically speaking, I'm not saying always, but typically speaking, you're going to get a little bit better production in the United States versus Brazil. Typically speaking, obviously. Let's get into it. This one is made in Brazil, the Taurus GX2. If you took a GX4 and a G3C together, that's exactly what you get right here. It literally looks like the GX4 with some of the features of the G3C, and they put them together and boom. Now, first thing my buddy and I noticed was texturing great. Ergonomics on point. It fits your hand perfectly. It feels great. Fits your hand like a glove. You know, while dry firing it, it feels good. Then you start to notice some things about it. But first off, what comes in the box? We got a lock, and then we have a mag. And my buddy actually grabbed this, and he says, you know, this mag feels cheap. And I said, no way. It's a Mec-Gar mag. No way. And I took a look at it. He handed it to me. I said, look at that. Made in Brazil. This is not a Mec-Gar mag. Look at the quality of this mag right out of the box. I didn't even notice this one. Look at the quality of this. Let's see what the other one looks like. Obviously, we're cleared. I guess they're all mushed in the back. That's some funky... Now, let me show you. This was $250. My buddy picked up this right here. A Glock 27 with a Glock Store double diamond barrel. Look how flawless this thing looks. No scratches, nothing. With a holster and 3 mags with base plates. Yes, it doesn't have a front OEM sight, but we're going to obviously swap it out anyways to night sights. He picked this up for $250. What is going to run better? A Taurus made in Brazil or a Glock made in Austria with the frying pan finish? One of the best finishes in my opinion. That's the difference in $250. Now, like I said, I like the GX4. I like the G3C. This feels really good in the hand. Has some great features. Really nice rail. Has that blacked out rear textured sight with that front dot. Stainless barrels like on all these Tauruses, obviously to save money. But then you start looking around. Like I said, the mag, super funky. Feels cheap, feels funky. And Shield Arms does this little split down the back, which I've seen before in other mags. But it just doesn't inspire confidence in me, the fact that they brought their production back to Brazil. I mean, even look at that right here, that crease. And that's the thing. Taurus was a very unsuccessful company when they were produced in Brazil. They were manufacturing handguns that had all sorts of issues. Some would just take off on you without even knowing it. Some would go binary. All sorts of crazy stuff would happen. And I just realized this has a manual safety. Didn't notice that before. The finish has always been crappy on Tauruses. But that's something I've been able to overlook for the money. That's been something... Oh, my goodness. We're already starting... Oh, wait, never mind. Are the sights off? Yeah, the sights are off. Look, gap here, gap here. We already have sights off. Look at, you see the gaps? Sights are off right out of the box. But once again, it takes Glock sights, I believe, so I'll be able to swap that out easily. Yes, they definitely take Glock sights. But look at the finish. What is going on with the finish here? Something funky is going on. I don't know. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's just oil or grease in some spots, but... The finish does not inspire confidence, just like my Taurus GX4. I never carry that thing. But the finish just disappears somehow. You take it to the range, you have less finish. It's like one of the only guns I've ever seen you shoot it for a little bit, and the finish is worse. It doesn't even make sense, but it happens. Now the positives. Feels really good in the hand, like I said. That's the #1 thing I like about it. 2, the trigger is obviously much, much better than the G3C. It's the GX4 trigger. Very short. Well-defined wall, nice kickback, nice reset. Probably sitting at about 5 pounds. Pretty nice trigger, not even gonna lie. Actually, a really nice trigger, ergonomic combination right there. I like it. 13 round mags, making this a 14+1 setup, or 13+1 setup for a total of 14 rounds. This model, I'm not sure if they all do. I doubt they all do, but this one, what my gun store had in stock, has a safety. Very stiff, so it's not going to accidentally turn on, but it is pretty easy to disengage. But I wouldn't run a safety if I were you. Texturing, on point. It feels really good. They got nice memory pads here and here. And they have texturing up top, which I'm starting to realize is a trend. A lot of these companies are starting to put more texturing up there. Then they bumped out next to the mag release. Perhaps they were having issues while testing it with accidentally pressing in that mag release while shooting. So they bumped that out. It now becomes almost flush, semi-flush, and you don't have that issue anymore. Then really good texturing down here. A decent size undercut. You can see that any finger will basically fit in there comfortably. And then they left the rest just straight. Really nice texturing. The whole upside to this handgun right here is that ergonomics, that bump right here, sitting high on that grip and that trigger. That combination is what's going to make this a solid gun for the money. But like I said, the finish will be gone. You will start to have rust issues, and to get it refinished, you know, you're going to be paying $100 for a crappy job, but $200 for a decent job, and $250 getting up in the higher end models. Here's my thing. When you send guns out and the sights are off, and you know that they're using precision machines, electronic machines, calipers, whatever the case may be, that tell you exactly where that sight is sitting, this should not be happening. This is telling me the fact that it's made in Brazil, and it doesn't say made in Bainbridge, Georgia anymore, like the other models did. We could have some issues with this handgun. We're obviously going to test it tomorrow, but feeling how this feels, it feels cheaper than the GX4. It feels cheaper than the G3C. And I just don't like the fact that it's not made in Bainbridge anymore. Why would you switch all your production over to Bainbridge, Georgia, have tons of quality releases, lots of people buying your guns, people that would never pick up a Taurus are actually starting to like them. They shoot well. The GX4 is a great gun. The G3C is a great gun. The TX22 is my favorite Taurus. It's also my favorite 22 long rifle. Why would you go back to what was causing problems in the first place? This handgun right here, for $250, potentially could be worth it. But like I said, a used Glock 27, which I'll show the receipt in the next video I make on it, for $250 used, it's not even close. It's not even a comparison. It's not even, it's ridiculous. Why would you go back to producing these in Brazil? You proved to everybody that your factories were not up to par. Your quality control was not up to date. Things were happening with your handguns that shouldn't be happening. It just doesn't make sense to me. But we're going to see. I'm going to shoot this thing tomorrow. I'll get back to you guys because overall, I like the way it feels. If it shoots like the GX4, then it's going to be a great shooter. But is it reliable? You know, who knows? We'll find out tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys.